What is the Taliban's biggest cash cow? Is it the poppy fields, the heroin, or is it the mineral riches that Afghanistan sits on? Well, the world is cracking down upon the drugs being pushed by the Taliban, and the mineral riches? Well, they will remain underneath as long as the Taliban members still wonder where Afghanistan is on the world map. Yes, there's a little bit of air in those heads. But they are not entirely dim-witted. They have their own experience in kidnappings, extortion, and obviously violence. So, what really keeps the Taliban going? Well, two things. Taliban's elaborate resume, having created unending cycles of extortion, and China. Hi, and welcome to TFI Global, the foreign affairs and geopolitical analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I am your host Shubhangi, and in this video, I will explain how the Taliban has managed to extort more money out of China without reining in China's two major enemies, Taliban in Pakistan and the East Turkestan Islamic movement. Let's begin. The Taliban is at it again. The Afghanistan-based extremist group keeps holding China hostage to extort billions of dollars out of the communist nation. Last month, Beijing pledged $31 million in the hope that the Taliban would crack down on China's two main enemies, the TTP and the ETIM. Yet the Taliban shows no signs of taking action against the two organizations despite having taken money from Beijing. Rather, the Afghanistan-based extremist group has cracked down only on Baloch rebels in order to fool Beijing. As per Nikki Asia, Islamabad and Beijing have succeeded in promoting the Taliban to crack down on Pakistani separatist groups operating from Afghan territory. However, the Taliban has targeted only the Baloch rebels and their sympathizers in the Afghan provinces of Nimroz and Kandahar. The detainees could now be handed over to Pakistani authorities. Mir Bakhtiar Domki, head of the band Baloch Republican Guard, expressed concern over the arrests of Baloch refugees in Afghanistan. Domki said, "The Taliban should ensure the protection of Baloch refugees like a neighbor instead of protecting the interests of Pakistan." So, who are the Baloch rebels? The Baloch rebels are a group of freedom fighters who want to free Balochistan from Pakistani occupation. Organized under the Balochistan Liberation Army or the BLA, the Baloch rebels have not only been fighting Pakistani occupiers but also hurting Chinese investments in the region. China itself wants to expand its influence in Balochistan and the port city of Gwadar as a means of expanding its influence in the Indian Ocean region. However, the BLA is opposed to the CPEC project and the use of Gwadar port by the People's Liberation Army, Navy, or Chinese commercial ships, which is why it keeps attacking Chinese interests. So the Taliban has gone after the Baloch freedom fighters and sympathizers, which is all right from China's perspective. However, the main concerns of China are the Taliban Pakistan, which is active in targeting Chinese interests in Pakistan. They're the real killers. And the East Turkestan Islamic movement, a group of Uyghur militants based in Afghanistan that wants to liberate the far western Chinese province of Xinjiang and establish an independent East Turkestan. These are the real threats faced by China. In fact, over the recent past, it is the TTP that has been attacking Chinese interests in Pakistan and not the BLA. In fact, a report published in Business Recorder, a financial newspaper in Pakistan, stated that the Chinese government has asked the Pakistani establishment to pay $38 million. Allegedly, the communist government has asked for compensation for deceased Chinese workers and engineers who had died in a bomb blast orchestrated by the TTP in Pakistan. Yet the Taliban is unlikely to take any action against the TTP. At the end of the day, the Afghan Taliban and the TTP are different organizations, but they share a lot of bonhomie. Both of them espouse Pashtun nationalism, and both of them pursue the Pashtunistan strategy of combining the Pashtun areas scattered across Afghanistan and Pakistan to form a new state that would comprise both Afghanistan and the Pashtun belt. As for the ETIM, China is worried about the Taliban takeover creating ungoverned spaces in Afghanistan that could instigate the growth of the Uyghur militant group. Simply put, Beijing is worried about the ETIM extremists spilling over into Xinjiang. This is why China is paying a lot of money to the Taliban in the hope that some action would be taken against the ETIM. However, the ETIM has joined hands with ISIS affiliate Islamic State Khorasan province. The ISIS-K is purported to be the Taliban's rival, and the group has already killed some Taliban leaders. Therefore, the ETIM is clearly not entirely under the control of the Taliban and has become more powerful inside Afghanistan, or so the Taliban wants China to believe. Now, the Taliban is unlikely to act against ETIM simply because the militant group has gone too much out of its so-called control. Whatever be the case in Afghanistan, China is clearly being tricked by the Taliban. China has been played quite embarrassingly. The Taliban won't act against the ETIM or the TTP. It did act against Baloch rebels, but it was just a sham to extract even more money out of China.